Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. Tasmanians are tonight no closer to knowing how the $3.5 billion proposed Marinus Link project will be funded or by who. The Prime Minister spent the day touring businesses in the north, plugging the state's 2 major power projects.
The Prime Minister on the tools.
It's a Metashed street. It is.
Spruiking pumped hydro and the second Bass Strait interconnector.
Already there's some 400 megawatts which sits idle. And we want to connect that up to the rest of the economy. We want to connect that up to the rest of Australia.
The Premier and PM signing a memorandum of understanding, marking the joint partnership for the early design stages of the Marinus Link proposal.
What we're achieving in this agreement is we go to the next phase of the Battery of the Nation and the Marinus Link project. Commonwealth is increasing our investment up to $150 million to get us through the design and approval phase.
But who will fund the multi-billion-dollar project remains up in the air. As for if it'll be publicly or privately owned.
Ultimately down the track, this will be a project, this will be a business that will stand on its own 2 feet.
What we've set up at the moment is a special purpose vehicle which will take us to the financial investment decision. This is the next step in terms of the proving of this project as a bankable project. Once it becomes a bankable project, there will be a range of options to consider in terms of who finances it and who ultimately owns it.
But not everyone is on board.
We actually need a plan around renewable energy, and we have not seen a plan from the Prime Minister. What we see from him is a quick photo opportunity and then he'll fly out of town.
The Prime Minister and the Premier have to tell Tasmanians who is going to pay for this project.
The state is now 100% self-sufficient in renewable energy and has set a 200% target by 2040. A possible pumped hydro site has also been selected.
Lake Sathana has been identified as the preferred site for further work to progress.
When the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine, you need a solution, and Tasmania has part of that solution.
This afternoon, the PM toured manufacturing firm Delta Hydraulics in Devonport, meeting some of the company's apprentices.
Helen, you worked here, Riley?
Since January.
Since January, yeah. Well, you enjoy. Merry Christmas.
LETITIA Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, Federal Labor was also touring Tasmania today, the party inspecting Launceston's social housing properties in need of urgent repairs. It's calling on the Commonwealth to invest $500 million to fast-track maintenance on properties around the country.
It's time for a bit of respect for Tasmanians. It's time for a bit of respect for Aussies who live in government housing. The government owns it. The public owns it, and it's being left to rot.
See, that's a state government job. And they're doing that job. We're doing JobKeeper. We're doing JobSeeker.
And the state government says it is investing in social housing and has reduced the maintenance backlog by $32 million since 2014. 19 jobs are set to be slashed at Cadbury's Claremont factory. Mondelez has confirmed the losses are a result of an almost $7 million investment into new equipment and technology. But the union says it will fight to reduce those staff cuts.
We don't believe that 19 jobs are redundant. We believe that it's probably less than that, and we'll be working with the company through consultation.
In the past 3 years, almost 100 jobs have been lost at the iconic factory. Former Greens leader Bob Brown has been charged with trespassing after refusing to leave a forestry area near Lake Leak. The high-profile conservationist was one of many to be arrested following protests to protect the critically endangered swift parrot.
Protesters occupying these logs in Tasmania's eastern tiers, calling for the protection of swift parrot habitat.
I'm really concerned. These parrots are critically endangered, and unless we stop logging these forests now, they will disappear from the planet.
Among them, Greens MPs Cassie O'Connor and Peter Wish-Wilson, as well as former Greens leader Bob Brown.
This destruction of native forests means the destruction of wildlife in an age of extinction. That includes the critically endangered swift parrot.
Research has found there could be fewer than 300 of the birds left in the wild. This video shot by the Bob Brown Foundation showing police arriving at the site, asking protesters to leave.
I'm here looking after my friend Harriet.
Are you willing to leave?
When she's...
I'm going to last chance,
Bob. When I know that she's looked after.
You're under arrest, old mate. Come with me.
Escorted to the Swansea police station, met with a crowd. 2 women also charged with trespassing, but not everyone is cheering for the protest.
They are trying to create a political stunt to cause anxiety and concern in the community. What it is doing is stopping people from working.
He says the protests cost the industry thousands of dollars.
The area has been identified by both houses of the Tasmanian Parliament as appropriate for timber harvesting, subject to a timber harvesting plan.
The Bob Brown Foundation vowing to continue fighting until there is more protection in place for the swift parrot. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's fire service is bracing for a busy summer ahead, taking to the skies to show off its firefighting arsenal today. But it has been left dealing with a flare-up on the ground as the public sector union threatens industrial action.
A firefighting arsenal tanking to the skies. Emergency services demonstrating this summer's aerial capabilities. The impressive sight, a reminder of the danger facing the state this fire season.
If you're living in Tasmania, you're living in one of the most bushfire-prone areas on Earth.
You're trying to maintain safety for all the aircraft, the ground crews. You're giving critical information back to our incident management teams.
Despite conducting more than 40 burn-offs, La Niña conditions have firefighters on edge.
Rain is promoting grass growth, so not only will we have a forest fire risk in the new year, but we'll also have grassland that could give us grief.
From helicopters to fixed-wing planes, more than 20 aircraft can be called on, an increase of 50% compared to last year, some dropping up to 3,000 litres every flyover.
They're not the panacea to everyone's woes, but they're used in initial attack to hold a fire so that we can get troops on the ground.
We are as well prepared as we can be going into this fire season, as the Chief has said, with more aircraft in the sky.
But the service is also dealing with a different kind of spot fire. The public sector union considering industrial action over the rates of specialist staff.
If the agency wants to continue to rely on their expertise and their skill set, then they need to put in place modern industrial arrangements.
We've got an interim agreement with the CPSU, which we've asked to extend over this summer, and I understand that they're happy to do that.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Tourism operator is creating a more tactile holiday experience for those with a vision impairment. Cocky Guide serves low vision travellers only, and this week they're touring Tasmania.
Taking a holiday can be a daunting experience for those with a visual impairment. However, one tourism operator is trying to change that.
Every person that's on the tour is individual, so they have a different sort of variation in their low vision or blindness. Some people have dogs, some people don't have dogs, so you've got to cater for that as well.
This group of 10 low vision or blind travellers are visiting Tasmania for 6 days. They'll be taking in locations like the Gorge, Cradle Mountain and the Platypus House.
I haven't been to Cradle Mountain before, and I'm really looking forward towards the bushwalking and the actual mountain itself.
And what's different is that we tend to have smaller groups, and we replace the sightseeing with sensory and tactile elements and look for ways of really bringing a destination to life.
An experienced guide, Buck McFarlane, noticed the industry didn't cater to everyone.
What I noticed is there was no blind or low vision travellers on any tours I led or any of the amazing places I've been.
He's now run the company for 2 years, showing there's a market for it. Most of his guests are repeat customers.
We found out about these tactile and high sensory tours, so I thought, let's give it a go. And 25, 26 trips later, here I am.
The opportunity to travel providing normality and freedom.
I don't like to say that I've got a disability. I do have, but being on these sensory tours, we just feel like an able person.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian live music is finally getting back on track with the Garden Gathering Festival launched today. The event will feature 4 different performances across 2 days, showing off the very best in local music. Homegrown band the Wolfe Brothers will headline the festival, with members excited to be on stage after a long year.
Having the year we've had and being unable to do it, I think not only have we missed it, I think a lot of people in the community have missed it. You know, it brings us together.
The value of live music to the community is undescribable. It brings people together, it makes people happy, and it gives relief to a very stressful time.
The Garden Gathering will be held at the Botanical Gardens on December 27 and 28. Hobart's Elizabeth Street Mall was alive with the sound of carols this afternoon as the Choir of High Hopes performed back-to-back concerts. In its first performance this year, more than 40 singers performed some Christmas classics.
We just exist for the people of Hobart. So everyone that you see behind me here today has worked really hard to be here and are just here doing their best.
The group also receiving an early Christmas present, with disability support group Access to Choice donating $1,000 to the program.
A top contender for tomorrow night's Conquering Stakes is looking to go one better after placing second in the Newmarket Handicap. This time though, Mandela Effect will be running his pet distance, with trainer Scott Brunton praising the gelding's will to win. Microphone munching Mandela Effect likes to make a statement.
So, there, you want to borrow that? Yeah, no dramas, we'll have to take that back.
And he did, in the Newmarket Handicap. It had everything but a win for Mandela Effect, the second placing especially pleasing, given it was over the shorter 1,200 metre distance.
To say it was a pass mark would be an understatement.
He'll be far more suited to the longer Conquering Stakes in Launceston. It's up against a similar field to the Newmarket, but over his sweet spot of 1,400 metres.
Loves life, he's adaptable. He's very adaptable.
Brunton says the 6-year-old is worthy of short odds, even though he's drawn the tricky barrier 3. A roughie in Turak Affair also likes the longer distance at Mowbray.
The further the races get, the stronger she gets.
The 7-year-old mare was beset by injury in early 2019 and finished 6th in the Newmarket. Maybe she'll recapture the same form tomorrow night, which took her to a Hobart Cup victory earlier this year.
Her first up run in the Newmarket was a little bit one-dimensional, and that she only found the line really strongly in the last 50 yards.
GG's second over, Mystical Pursuit, and last year's winner Blaze 4th will also be vying for victory in the $100,000 race. Christmas Carnival stalwart Georgia Baker will return to the series for the first time in 2 years. Baker will race in the new carnival at Georgetown before turning her attention to the New Year's Eve carnival in Burnie. Fellow Tasmanians Josh Duffy and Lauren Perry are also locked in for the carnivals.
Good evening. 31 in Launceston today, Hobart 29, a high of 24 in Burnie and Devonport 23. 33 was the state's top across Bushy Park and Ouse, Lyweenie and St Helens 27, 31 at Flinders Island and Smithton 26. On the close-up shows, cloud scattered across the state. Further out, a mass of middle-level cloud continues over coastal New South Wales and waters to the east. Tomorrow, a high has moved southwest of Tasmania and extends a ridgewell to the west and east. South to southeasterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 25 knots, swells up to 3 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. A strong wind warning is current for southern, western and northern Tasmanian coastal waters from southeast Cape to Low Rocky Point. Tomorrow's forecast now, Hobart a late shower or 2, 17 across Geeveston and Bothwell. In the north, late showers about Launceston and Cressy, Devonport 21. Burnie tomorrow showers developing, Strawn 21, 18 at Curry. A late shower or 2 at St Helens and 16 across Swansea and Orford. The UV forecast is extreme across the state with the sun setting at 8:43 p.m. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast, Thursday showers easing during the afternoon with possible thunderstorms about the north and west. Friday mostly fine about the northwest, fine elsewhere. And Saturday showers in the west and south extending in the east during the afternoon. Capital cities 31 and sunny in Perth tomorrow. Adelaide a shower or 2 and Alice Springs reaching a high of 38. And currently Hobart 17 and mostly cloudy, Launceston 24, partly cloudy and Devonport 21 and sunny. That's all for weather tonight, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much, Jackie. We will see you again tomorrow night. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday evening. See you tomorrow. Good night.